the Lui Diaz Podcast.
Episode 65, Peter Psomadelis. You're back.
Lights, camera, action. Hosier Lane.
Welcome back, man. Woo, what a day. What a morning. I'll tell you
What a night.
Oh, what a night. You know. Hey, welcome. Sorry
Thank
about
you,
before.
thank you.
I was just setting up and I just couldn't talk. I'm
Plenty of hearts and music notes in Hosier Lane there.
There he is. Who did those? The man himself. Hey,
I think the vibe here in Hosier Lane at the moment is gone to an electric, and I'm very happy to see that there's a lot of people
yeah.
interstate and
Yeah.
overseas that are enjoying it.
There's a lot of visitors. Yeah. We've got a lot of visitors come through here. And, you've done a nice job, you know. It looks good. It looks great. Congrats. Look, they're behind you. Did you do that on purpose? Did you come in here and put those hearts there because you knew that you were going to be sitting in that chair?
No. Because I made sure, because it's got the kiss and hug music notes.
Seems a little calculated. I think you knew.
Well,
I think you knew.
No.
It looks good, though.
Look.
You got your own backdrop. You painted your own
That's right.
backdrop.
I was going to paint the whole of it, but then I thought, no, let's just keep it real.
Yeah. You know, I like when I come here every week that there's just like a little bit of something different that's been done. So then someone painted this like pink cat, and then someone came over and tagged over it, and then that silver kind of writing underneath appeared. And
It's
I just like that it's every week it's a little different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think it adds like something to the podcast that, you know, I think is just stylistically interesting. You know,
Okay.
that I can come in here
Yep.
and then every time you watch an episode, like, because people can listen and watch this podcast, right? Every time you watch an episode of this episode, you're going to see the background slightly different, you know, and that's cool. I like that. You know what I mean? It's not like a talk show where you know the set's always the same. Or like some podcasts where they're in a studio, it's always the same.
Yep.
I like change. Change is constant. Change is the only constant in life, isn't it?
Change is good,
Change is good.
but some people don't like the change.
Well, change is hard for some people. Change can be hard. You know, like change, like, you know, if you don't change, the world will change you and for you, right? So
Absolutely.
it's like, you know, some people don't like change and they resist it, but then it's inevitable. So the world will change them.
I think everyone goes through that motion.
Yeah.
They like it or not.
Yeah.
But you know the funniest thing is, and we've discussed this in episode 52.
Was it 52? Yeah, this one's 65. Whoa.
I discussed this in episode 52.
That's wild.
You know, with some individuals,
Yeah.
because every single person on this planet is
Yeah.
a chosen one,
Yeah.
and everyone has a story. But one thing that people have got to understand
Hmm.
is some bloodlines you cannot fucking cross.
I don't know what you
Because
mean.
I mean this,
Yeah.
that certain people on this planet
Yeah.
have a purpose and a journey.
Like, you know, that's
Like myself.
That's more significant. Is
Like
that what you
myself.
mean? Yeah.
Like
Are
myself.
you high-fiving me? No.
Like myself.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
No, I'm saying like myself.
Yeah. What is yours? What's your purpose and journey?
I don't know.
What?
I don't really know.
I thought you would have figured that out.
I really don't know. Because I don't think anyone knows the purpose of journey.
Are you saying
You got to take things day by day.
it unfolds as you move through life?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And like you said before, with this,
Yeah.
no, I didn't plan it.
No. I
With
was being
this thing
cheeky.
here,
I was being
with
cheeky.
all
though.
the hearts here and everything I've done here, I've never planned it.
You know, I was being cheeky though.
No, that's okay. It's good to be cheeky because I like that about you. Because, you know,
I like that about you too. I like that you like that about
I
me.
like that because I like debate.
Yeah.
Someone that could sit there, you know, and talk about things.
Yeah. It's not. Yeah.
You know, and sort of, you know, the flame,
Yeah. The flame. Yeah.
the injection.
Well, I like that you're not you know, that you're open to, you know, discourse and having conversation. You know, it doesn't always have to be agreeable. You know, I think you appreciate that people can have differences and they can discuss them. And, you know, I was talking about that with someone last night. And, yeah, it's just, there are people that are that way inclined, like yourself, and there are people that are not. And I think it's a difference. It's really evident to see who's got an open mind, who has a closed mind. You know, if you can't handle debate or someone being cheeky and challenging you from time to time, then you're a little closed-minded, and that's going to close off opportunities for you in life.
Absolutely. And I think, now that you mentioned that, Louis, at one stage in my life, I was like that.
Yeah. Oh, please. Guilty.
I was like that. I'm guilty. I'm saying, and I've lost.
As if we're not.
No, but I admit it, and I've lost amazing opportunities. But then in the flip side of it is this. I think it was supposed to happen for my next purpose of life.
Yeah.
You get what I'm trying to tell you?
I get you.
So that all happened so it happens in a good way, but if you're going to sit there and think about it, you just got to say, okay, take it on board and just try and continue.
Yeah, sure. For me, it's interesting, right? Because there's always an opportunity to, like in life, as you go through it, as you travel through it, there's always an opportunity to, like, you can't turn back, right?
No, you can't.
But there's always an opportunity to correct your course, and it might not be like you might be walking down the same street, for example, and that's the only street you can walk down, but it's your attitude that can change, you know. And I think you really appreciate that, and what you're talking about reminds me of that like, oh, okay, well, I missed opportunities, but it opened other doors. I think what it did is it taught you lessons, and it opened your mindset that like, all right, well, I'm on this path now, and so I need to make the most of it. I think it's a rare mindset. I like that.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right, Louis. I think, you know, look, I don't know if I should mention it, but I'm going to mention it. And I've mentioned it in my last episode. My father meant a lot to me.
Yeah.
And last night he passed away at the Austin Hospital. And I would like to thank everyone at the Austin Hospital that supported me.
Yeah.
And I was going, you know, because when you called me this morning,
I can't believe you're here, bro.
When you called me this morning,
me.
but when we spoke this, I called you this morning. We spoke. You said, "Is there something?" And I said, "No, I'm still going to do this because it's not."
Well, you didn't tell me. You hadn't told me on the phone, and I was frazzled. I just got off.
Yeah, but I just want to mention it because we still got to continue with what I need to do.
Yeah, okay.
Because I said to you that I will be here.
I think,
and I'm gonna try and you know,
literally everyone else on earth would have cancelled this.
Yeah, but I wouldn't, because you know why? I did my best. To be there with him, I was there until the last minute.
You did,
and I think he would have been happy for me to continue. And then after this whole interview or whatever, you know, this session that we're having together, this conversation, I still got to go back to that and sort of try and, you know, continue and do what I need to do and grief and all that. And I think this whole thing, even here with you, it's part of that whole thing, and it's helping me. And me being in Hosier Lane, it's given me why I've did all these hearts.
Yeah.
You get it?
Yeah.
And the most funniest thing, that the girls there at the hospital, they put this little blue heart. And look.
Oh, cute. That's very...
You know, man.
Yeah.
So
it's just another sign, isn't it? Well, you know, like, there's two things there. Like, firstly, like that, I think that speaks to like a very high level of integrity, whether you've always had it or not, you have it now, to continue on with the plans no matter what, continue on with things no matter what. There's so many people these days that are, and I'm not saying this would be flaking, because that would be disrespectful, but you know, like, even for whatever reason, they got up in the morning, they felt a bit tired, they're going to cancel their plans. Like, for me, like, having your parent pass away is probably on the most, like, extreme end of things that will happen to you in your life. You know, it's like, it's a monumental moment for you and your family. And, like, the integrity of the man that's sitting in front of me right now to want to follow through with the plans that were set, no matter what. And sure, this isn't taking you too much out of your day, but I do think every single other person, maybe that I've ever met, would have cancelled on me.
Let me just
Not that it would matter. By the way,
just say
if you
something.
called me up and said, my dad passed away, look, we need to cancel, I would totally respect you for that.
I know you would, Louis. I want to tell you something. I know you would.
Of course.
I know you would.
Like, who wouldn't?
But but hang on. Let me just say something, all right? Because I did mention this in episode 52 about lentils and about my mate's father that passed away and I was helping him. Let's just go back to that briefly. I just want to mention this, all right? And now you'll understand why I'm here today after saying about my father.
Yeah.
With coronavirus, we're in lockdown, blah, blah, blah. I was looking after my father's. You know, if you go through episode 52, you'll hear what happened. At that moment, I lost 3 important people. It wasn't just my mate's father that I lost from 2021, 22. I had 3 important people, and I only mentioned one. I lost Mallory Kate Barwin.
Yeah.
In 2021, she committed suicide.
Oh, man.
27.
Damn.
The second person was Andreas Skoulos. He was like my mate's dad.
Yeah.
Like a good role model. Yeah. And the third person was my stepfather, John Yanilidis, and now my father. So those 3 people were very, very important to me. And now, yes, I was there.
That was all in that same period.
Yeah, it was all in this 2021, 2022. So this is why I got into my creative part, music and graffiti and art. And this is why I did all the music notes and hearts and everything in Hosier Lane, Louis.
Oh, that makes sense. And don't mind me, I'm just looking for my phone because I want to take a photo.
Okay.
I am listening.
So that's why I did all this. And, you know, being in Hosier Lane now, I feel proud to be here with you, but also, you know, looking to see how it's a beautiful vibe down here, man. And other people can continue in doing this amazing art form, adding on.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm getting a little bit more context now as to why it's important to you, you know. I mean, you've explained it before, but I think you're just going into a bit more detail.
I gave you more details about it.
Yeah.
So.
It's like a therapy for you. It's like art therapy.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think other people might use it as art therapy too, you know. And I'm sure they, you know.
Can I ask you this though? Like, you know, like if I think about just the general notion of art therapy, one might go to a class and do art therapy in a class, whether it's an art class or a psychology art therapy thing. What's the significance of doing it here in the street? You know, like, why does it have to be here?
I'll tell you why, Louis. Why I did it in this street here.
Yeah.
This street was built. Hosier Lane is from 1980s. Okay, it's been here.
Yeah.
Through the graffiti artists.
Right. Yeah.
We didn't have anywhere else to do graffiti. It was only City Square, and then the other place was here.
Right. Okay.
So that's why it was sentimental for me.
So this was allowed.
Yeah.
And you did some graffiti back then.
Yeah,
here.
I did.
Oh, okay.
Just tags and all that. I used to look like.
How old were you in the 80s?
I was only about 15, 16, man.
Right. Okay.
And then,
so this is taking you back to a special time in your youth.
And not only that, because I mentioned it in episode 52.
Yeah.
You know, about where I used to go to my auntie's. If you all go back to episode 52, you'll listen to it, part of it.
Please do. Available on Spotify and YouTube.
On Louis' broadcast. Anyway, so if you go back to episode 52, you will see it, what I said. It started me going to my auntie's in Yarraville, but then later on, in down the track, when I was City Square and all that, my godmother, Helen and Peter, that used to live in Richmond, we used to visit with my family down there. And then going down there, that's where it became a bit more serious, you know, me going into the graffiti scene and all that. Because there was a crew called RDC and Pearl and Prowler and all the boys down there. They used to do legals down there, and that's where I got it become more, you know. But it doesn't mean that I continued it, because I went overseas, mate. And then, you know, you had to live your life. I came back here, never. And now that I've sort of like semi-retired, or, you know, and all these tragic things have happened, that just switched on me, you know. So I used that to sort of like switch off from what's happened, but deal with it, and then just, and just do all the art form and that. And I, you know, coming down here, it was all tags and all that. Yeah. And now just seeing this, it's just, you know, like, it's amazing. Yeah. Like,
oh yeah,
it's amazing, but it's not because I want someone to be able to come down here and go over that and do their thing. Do you understand? Yeah. That's why I did it all.
Yeah. So like you're trying to encourage more people coming down here in a way. And
yeah, man.
Yeah.
Everyone, not just me, man. You know, anyone that could.
I don't know if I'd ever. Spray down here. I've never spray painted before.
You never have?
Oh, no, okay. I've never, like.
Have you ever touched a can?
Yeah, well, I had a scooter once when I was like 18, and I sprayed it blue, right?
Did you?
It's the only thing I've ever sprayed. You know, like, I've never touched a can. Like, I've done other forms of art, but I've never, I've never thought to, like, you know, come to the street and do something. Like, mostly because I think I think I would need to practice first, you know, because I don't think I would have very good control of what's happening out of a can, you know what I mean?
Let me just tell you something about the can, all right? The 80s, when we grew up, the cans were totally different. Yeah. The cans that are out now, like Loop, Cobra, Flame, Montana's, Iron Lac, man, they're quality paint. Yeah, okay. We're talking about quality. Yeah. Quality, high pressure, low pressure. There's all these different nozzles, man. Okay. So me coming down here and starting with the hearts, it was like, man, I was like a little kid honestly, I was like a little kid in a lolly shop. Because I started doing hearts and all that, you know what I'm saying? And people, and the guys that I was buying the paint off, some of the boys, they were laughing. They go, hey, look, Temple, you know, Temps is doing these love hearts, you know, blah, blah, blah. They weren't laughing in a way, but they were like, you know, but then I started doing Temps and Temple, and, you know, and then some people realize, hey, you know, it's Peter. So, and I'm not doing it, man. I'm just doing it to express myself and encourage other people.
Well, it sounds like there's been I mean, you've explained that really well, that there's, you know, you're in a phase of your life where it feels important to reconnect to a part of your upbringing, you know, and I think the significance of your dad being ill throughout this period that I've known you, probably longer, you know, has probably meant for you that, you know, there needs to be some kind of escape, like a healthy escape, not an unhealthy escape, you know, because I think, you know, you and I have spoken a bit. We've done things in a nightclub scene and taken drugs and whatever it is, and we have these unhealthy escape habits. But this is a really wonderful way to escape from some of the stuff that can happen. And look, you know, people question, should you really be escaping from things in life? But yeah, sometimes you do. Sometimes you need a break from the heavy shit that's going on.
You're right, Louis. But let me just say something, all right? Yeah. You're right. Look, I'm not saying that I haven't taken drugs in my life. Man, I was in the nightclubs. I've tried everything, and I don't encourage people to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if you're going to continue
fall into.
Yeah, but if you're going to continue drinking and drinking and drinking, you're going to hurt your body.
Yeah.
And one thing that I learned through my father's process in the hospital, despite what was going on, there was a dietitian that come in to see and asking questions. And I already knew, because when I was in the military, I had a dietitian, a physio, and a psychologist. Yeah. And those three things are very important. And we have that under Medicare here in Australia. So they don't teach you these things in school, mate. Only probably if you've got a high qualified position and you're under a contract, you know, you can probably get those things. But these things are for free. And there are three important things: a dietitian, physio, and psychologist. It doesn't mean that you're crazy. It's just helping you.
Oh yeah, it's
through the.
It's giving the body a tune up, the body and mind a tune up. You know, like people tune their cars up. You know, take them for a service.
And this is like a tune-up here too.
It is.
It's like a tune-up here too.
Yeah.
And I think art is a,
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, for sure.
you know.
Yeah.
So
Think about that creative part of your brain, that right side of your brain that is, you know, inclined to be creative and problem solving, and also just let go of some of the administrative realities of life. You know, we all got to pay tax and all that stuff and work to make money. But like, you know, then there's these things that we have like music and art and poetry and comedy. You know, I've been interviewing a lot of comedians lately. What do you think of those?
man, you know what? I've gone through a couple of your interviews with the boys. Man, every single person you've had on your show in the last, you know, most episodes, man, they're amazing characters.
Yeah.
Like, it was like everyone's got their own.
Yeah, it's true.
Like
Yeah.
Dan, you know, like Dan.
Dan.
Dan's good. Then the other Italian comedian, he's like blah, blah, blah.
James Liotta.
James, he's a different character.
Energies are different, yeah.
Yeah, like, but they're comfortable within their skin.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and who cares what other people think?
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's there.
Oh, that's really true. I didn't.
But Dan's something, you know, I don't want to say.
What the Kiwi Dan Brader.
Dan's, I don't know, man. Man, something about Dan, man.
He seemed
it's
a little
like-
just
No, man.
reserved at times.
Yeah, but I think it's
I'm not-
good.
I'm not saying it's not in a judgy way. I'm just saying, like, you know,
No, there's
what is
some-
it about Dan's energy that really stood out to you?
Man, I don't know. It's just I can't describe it, man.
Yeah.
You know? Dan's energy, like,
Interesting.
yeah.
Oh man, I love that you've been following along.
Yeah, man.
Like that's really cool. You know, to have met you, and you know, that was very spontaneous. That first episode we did together, episode 52. You know, people will notice that it's much shorter than other episodes because we were doing it off the cuff, and then we've got asked to leave.
We're doing it down
and
at the
then
artwork down
it was
there.
actually really
Yeah.
cold
That was
day
amazing.
as well, and it was windy, and it was, you know, and it was my third interview that day as well. So I was like, I was cooked.
Yeah.
But you know, like a part of the reason why, you know, it's been a very successful episode, by the way.
Is it?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like a lot of views, a lot of watch hours. I think lots of comments. People have there's something about you that's really captivated people, and I think, you know, you've been really great at sharing it with your network, but I think something tells me that there's been a bit of a thirst, like a hunger to hear from someone like you out there, you know, because there's people that don't know you that are watching, but there's something about the things that you say that's like captivating them, and I think you should be very.
I know a lot of people.
Well, you're very real.
I know a lot of people, right? And my journey hasn't been like this.
Yeah,
My journey's been like
I got a feeling about that. Yeah,
and up and down, all right? And I'm going to mention it because I don't care. When I was in the nightclubs,
yeah,
I wasn't in the nightclubs because you mentioned about drugs before.
oh yeah.
all right?
I mean, and
Now, even if I had, you know, taken narcotics and whatnot, it was just an scapegoat.
yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? It was just an scapegoat. But now going back to it, I'm thinking, man, I'm lucky to be alive here today
Yeah,
because I wasn't on any heavier drugs. It was just marijuana, you know, and probably a couple of ecstasy tablets.
yeah,
And just stuff like that.
Yeah.
And, you know, I never went on to the hard stuff. But the thing is that I was always focused. If I'd say, look, I'm not going to do this, bang, I wouldn't do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's probably the good thing about it, where I'm pretty strong head type, and the military has helped me. Now, when you're in the spotlight, you can be targeted too, you know, because you're light and that.
yeah.
You
I
are.
understand.
You are.
No, well, I know.
You get targeted. And then one particular situation that I went through in 2001, I nearly got shot
Which is wild.
walking into a nightclub. The nightclub was called the Mega Bar on King Street and Flinders Lane. I was walking in there. one early morning right after inflations, and one particular character tried to
Really?
bang.
With you?
Oh, yeah,
Shit.
me walking in there.
Damn.
Now,
Was
the
it-
confrontation,
Were they coming after you? Or?
I don't know. The confrontation that came with his character was a friend of mine was running a pool hall in Preston High Street at that time. Very good guy that I, old good friend.
Yeah.
And we were closed at that time, and I used to help him in the pool hall. And we were closed, and he asked me to go downstairs and open the door, and I went downstairs, and this character, I told him we're closed, so he punched me.
Oh, shit.
And I said, okay, no worries. I didn't do it. He punched me. So it took me a while to walk up the stairs, and my mate and the other guys that were in there, they asked me, what happened? I said, this guy punched me. So word of mouth got around. This particular guy punched me. He was 7 foot, and I'm only a little bloke. So when the time came and I went to Inflation's nightclub that week, and this guy got there, they pulled him up and they told him, hey, mate, what did you do this? This guy's pretty... I'm pretty, I used to talk to everyone, mate, being nice and friendly.
Yeah.
But I don't know what... The guy might have had stuff going on in his brain.
Yeah.
And they gave him a chance. They gave him whatever. But he still carried on that night. They kicked him out. He didn't... Probably because he had stuff going on.
Yeah.
And that morning, he was waiting at the front of Inflations.
G'day, mate.
Hello, how are you? He was waiting at the front of Inflations in the morning. I was walking down King Street. He came from the opposite when there was a bridge there before they did the construction, and he tried to shoot us.
Damn.
With me walking in there. It was like, mate, from here to there. Man.
He missed.
Yeah, man. And that's when I thought, Jesus Christ, what's going on? And when I seen who it was, that's when I was devastated. I'm thinking, what's going on with this bloke?
Man.
That's when, yeah. So that's where my life sort of,
Yeah, okay.
I knew at that moment, geez, why are people doing this? So,
Did it make you rethink
yeah.
going out, like spending time in that sort of...
But I still, look, what I did at that moment, because I was living in Ascot and I was dating a beautiful, one of my, very strong relationships. I don't want to mention her name, but I'm going to mention JT. Her first name starts with JT. I don't want to mention her first surname.
Sure.
Anyway, and me and her, we had a relationship very close. She was like a rock to me.
Right.
And, I got a bit scared at that time. Not scared, but, geez, mate, someone to do that. And I had to sort of rethink about everything.
Right. So did you want to protect her or something?
I had to. So I had to move away from where I was living. We moved away from it all. I was still, but being more cautious.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
I was
I
more
think that's
cautious.
a natural reaction to an event like that. Is like, I better rethink something.
Yeah, absolutely. But the thing was, I never spoke about my military background. No one knew, It was just I wasn't just lucky, but the other people there were very lucky. The security guard at the front there.
Yeah, for sure.
Mate, I'm surprised that no one got hurt.
No one got hurt.
Yeah, man.
Wild. It's like a miracle.
Yeah.
So
I just wanted to share that.
Yeah. Well, that's a heavy chapter for sure.
Yeah, man.
Wow. And you're here to tell the tale.
Yeah, man.
How good. You brought us breakfast.
And lunch.
Oh, and lunch. Okay. Well, let's save lunch for after breakfast. Oh, it's warm too. Ooh.
All right.
I'm just going to leave that there. Baguette. What's this place? Flinders Street Station. Nice. Lovely. What do we got in here? Oh, I'm going to unwrap it. Ooh, this is exciting. The reveal. Oh, you're kidding, bro. Bro.
What is it?
It's a berry cheesecake. Oh, man. Are you kidding? Bro, my blood sugar levels are going to spike in the best way ever. I love cheesecake. I love berry cheesecake. My ex bought me a berry cheesecake for my 30-something birthday. I think I was 36. Yeah.
Hey, hearing a story just like that before, we need to have something like this.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Let's sweeten it up a little bit. Oh, you're a legend, bro. I'm just gonna tuck into this. Oh God, that's so good. Oh, thank you,
nice.
Peter. Thank
It's
you.
all right, man.
It's very special. Yeah.
Yeah, so
You touched on the military background a little bit in our first chat, and I want to dive into that a little bit because I don't fully understand it. So you have a Greek heritage and a citizen. Are you like a dual citizen of Greece and Australia?
I'll tell you,
Yeah.
I've been born and raised here in Australia.
Yeah.
But because I went overseas to Greece and I resigned there, because I resigned in Greece and I did the army.
So, but why did you do the army? Like, was it
Because
a requirement?
you have to.
So
You have to do the army in Greece if...
in order to keep your Greek heritage, like...
No, not Greek heritage, but to live there.
Oh, okay.
So it was...
If I wanted to live in Greece, I have to join the army. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know now how it works, as I think it's all changed now.
Yeah, okay.
But it's a 6-month period that you have to do it. A lot of people pay for it, but I wanted to do it. And I think I didn't do it
You're
for...
saying that you can pay to get out of it.
I'm sure he can.
The fucker lucky.
Yeah, to fake it like it, that's right. So I'm sure you could do it, you know what I'm saying? So this guy's a good tourist guide that takes all the tourists around. I got to know him. He's amazing, man. Doing graffiti and all that and art down here.
Yeah, you'd see a lot of these people often.
No, they're amazing. Because I talk to some of the people down here when he brings around.
Yep,
He brings one of the biggest. He brings one of the biggest groups, probably 150 people. Look, all these people are from his group.
He's got a good little side hustle happening there.
No, good on him, man. He's very good at what he does, man. And you know, word of mouth gets around too. That he's good at it. So
I should do one of his tours one day. I'm sure I'll learn something. You know, it's like we never do tours in our own city.
I think what it is, he's part of the furniture. He knows the structure. He knows the past things. He knows what's coming tomorrow. He knows the artist. He'll know this person, that person. You know what I'm saying? And you know, man, he's always been amazing with me.
Yeah.
Anyway,
nice.
going back to
The question, yeah.
the question with the Greek army is that I decided to do it, and yes, I become a resident of Greece
Okay.
from doing it.
Why did you decide to do it? Take a bite. I mean, you're telling me that there was an option to not do it. Some people may have, being able to escape it through bribery or whatever, but you decided to go ahead with it. Is that just your typical kind of integrity thing? Is like, no, that's the rules. I'm going to follow through with that.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
It's because that's the rules, man.
Yeah. Okay.
And let me tell you, if I didn't want to do it, man,
Yeah, sure. Like if you didn't want to
if
do it,
I didn't want to do it, there's connections.
Yeah.
And trust me, my stepfather had connections, and my family, also my mother's heritage, they're all, they were part of the, whatever, government
Yeah.
stuff, and yeah.
So I'm just taking a video, actually.
Of you and me.
Yeah, no, just you.
Anyway, so I think Greece has got an important heritage, but not only Greece. Europe is very important. And me doing it, man, it's in history books. I did it.
Yeah,
There's
nice.
a lot of Greeks, and it's my father's, because my father did the army, but my other uncles, they left Greece not to do the army.
Oh.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They left Greece not to do the army. So how's that?
There may have been reasons for that, It may have been
but
tough, right?
it would have been
Like
tough.
it wouldn't have been easy. But not that I'm saying that's an excuse. If everyone's required to do it, you should do it, I suppose.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But they left, and when I look at them, and they, some of my uncles, some of them I talk to, some I don't. Mate, I look at it and I'm thinking, look at this. I did the army. these banana heads, these banana heads left Greece to come to Australia, but I went there and I did the army. Mate, my ancestors, they love me.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Man. My ancestors love me. So
such a rare mindset for people to think about holding the integrity of their family name, their family lineage, to do the thing that would make your parents and grandparents proud of who you are.
I'll tell you something, Louis.
That you're part of their bloodline.
Do you know, whatever I've done in my life, I don't go there thinking about, I don't know, man. I think my headset and my mind, I think, works different to normal other people. I don't sit there and plan it. Do you understand? I just, if this is now. All right, how do we go about it to fix it? Or how do we go about it to, do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I think my upbringing has been good and bad, because I could talk about, you know, when my mother grew up in Greece, at that time, there was Germans fighting the Greeks. You know, my grandfather, he fought wars, mate, for his country. So when he came to Australia, mate, he was working at the Prince Henry Hospital, mate. And to get a job at the Prince Henry Hospital on St Kilda Road, mate, that's royalty. So I'm not saying that I'm better than you guys, but, you know, my bloodline might be a little bit.
Well, there's elements to your family's, you know, actions in the past that you feel like are, you know, of high esteem in relation to the work that they put into the community, to the work that they put into their country, and and the integrity, and I guess that those actions kind of hold. It's
But that could be good actions, because they weren't perfect, mate.
oh,
I could tell you a story with my grandfather when I was young. You're going to freak out.
go on.
When I was at St Anthony's primary school, I used to ride my bike sometimes, because, you know, St Anthony, Alphington to Victoria Road. And then one day I'm riding my bike back at home, and my grandfather used to live in McDonald Street, Northgate. And I'm looking at police helicopters everywhere. I'm thinking, what the fuck is going on here? You know? And I'm going, trying to get closer to my grandfather's house, because I was very close with my grandfather. He loved me, man. But he loved all his family and that.
For sure.
If anyone had said anything bad about his family or his grandkids, man, my grandfather was like, mate, he was like a general. You know what I'm saying? Mate, he used to wear his suit and his red tie and everything, you know, like a mafia boss.
Right, okay.
But he wasn't. But anyway, so I'm going there and I could see police were everywhere. I'm thinking, I asked, they said, the house here. I'm thinking, what? So I go back home, hey, Mum, something's happened in that grandfather's house, your dad's house. My mum goes there. The coppers had him. There was a siege on. A siege at my grandfather's house. I'm thinking, what's going on?
It's crazy.
Yeah, man, there was a siege there. I'll tell you why there was a siege there. There was a sheriff that knocked on the door at my grandfather's house, because my grandfather used to have naps.
Yeah.
And he knocked on the door, and then by the time my grandmother went, how he was knocked on the door, and then because the European people had glasses next to their windows, and he must have knocked it really hard, and he cracked the glass. So that by the time my grandmother went to the door, she said, hey, John, someone broke the window, and they left. So that same guy went the next day there and knocked on the door. So when he knocked on the door, my grandfather just said to my grandmother, don't go to the door. And he just pulled out the shotgun, mate.
You're kidding.
Yeah. The guy opens the door, he goes, hey, were you the guy there? The guy just started freaking out, and he ran off. What do you want the guy to do, mate?
It's wild.
So he called the coppers, and there was a full siege. And then that's when they took my grandfather's guns away, and example, you know, because he was a hunter, man. He wasn't a bad person.
Yeah.
But he did make a mistake. There's rules and regulations, man. You can't just, hang on, man. Someone's not going, no.
I get it.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
And he was in the wrong. But to try and tell him that,
Yeah.
think about it.
There's no reasoning sometimes.
No, there's no reasoning, but he's come from a country full of wars.
Yeah,
With the Germans and or whatever.
Yeah, so his head's totally in a
His
different...
hands totally, mate. He was like staunch. Mate. Even he was, but he was a good man. He was a very good person in the community. People used to respect him.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Whoa, that's wild.
Yeah, man.
Full siege.
Mate, full siege, man, over someone knocking on this door, cracking his window.
Wow.
Mate, full siege, 8 hours.
That's wild. Man,
Oh, man.
definitely some colourful stories from your upbringing, man. That's... I guess,
Oh,
yeah,
man.
I think there's not many people that would be comfortable talking about their family history and stuff, and some of the dirt, I suppose.
It's not dirt. It's just something that happened, man.
Yeah.
It happened.
Yeah.
Yes, it was at that time, when there was, because my grandfather used to go hunting with my uncles and, duck shooting and all that. But that's when they realised that, guess what?
Yeah.
That's gone overhand here, mate. Someone's knocked on your door, and this is in the 80s, Lou. It was probably 80, 84, 85, somewhere there. Mate, knocking on your door, a sheriff, he went to the wrong address anyway. But poor bloke opens the door and then someone's saying, hey, you're the one that knocked on my window, broke my window. Mate, he wouldn't do anything to him, but, mate, think about it.
Yeah. Well, be careful whose window you break.
Yeah. So...
That's interesting. If we want to go, I want to go back to the army though. So you did 6 months there. You did 6 months.
No, I did longer than that, mate.
Oh.
I did 24 months.
Right. Was that by choice?
Yes and no. What happened? I was in Thessaloniki and then to Sparti. From Sparti, I went back to Thessaloniki in Menemeni. From Menemeni, I went up to Komotini on the border it's like before Turkey. But I had a good time, man. I enjoyed it. I had, mate, it was...
So you were having fun.
I wasn't having fun, but...
Well, you wanted to stay on.
I wanted to stay on in the sense of going... Look, at that time, you don't... You know what I'm saying? But looking at it now, it shapes you, mate.
Yeah.
Discipline. You
shave,
all this stuff. They don't teach you this stuff at school, mate.
So,
here. The schooling here in Australia, what?
Yeah,
have a look, mate. Come on.
I understand.
You know what I'm saying?
So you were drawn to the disciplinary kind of activities that you felt were really shaping and forming you as a man at the time. Like something about being there, felt like the right thing for you and your development. You didn't want to leave after 6 months. That's kind of what I'm hearing.
It's not that I didn't want to leave. I do want to leave. You do want to leave and finish it. But looking at it now and going back, because we're discussing about it, it's more like...
So 24 months wasn't by choice?
No, it wasn't by choice. It was only about 18 months. But because certain things that happened occurred, I might have been late coming back from my holidays.
Here we go.
When I'm out, I might take the Jeep out, where I shouldn't have taken the Jeep out. Stuff like that. So what happens, they've got discipline reactions. You know what I'm saying? You get, excuse me, you get like a jail term, they call it. But it's not jail. It's just like saying, all right, we're going to penalise you. Why did you take this with what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like parking your car over here and non-standing and you're getting the ticket. Yeah. It's similar like that.
Peter, you were naughty. Here's another 6 months.
So what? Yeah. So it's like, the young youth criminal activity that we have here with young kids today. Yeah. I think they should use that system. But,
Well, it's interesting that you say that because I've heard some things about... I think it's El Salvador where the president just locks up people even if they've just got tattoos, right?
Oh, no, that's not good.
And street people.
We won't be able to.
No.
You
well,
and me. Look, I've got tattoos.
I ain't going there anytime soon.
I didn't notice you got tattoos there, Louis.
Yeah, I do.
There
you go.
Turn your hand a little bit over. Show us. What I like to, you got the eye. You got the salt. What's that other thing there?
It's a snake and it's, this needs to be finished off.
Hey, I've got my dragon here.
Ooh.
I've got a dragon here. Look.
Nice.
Right
need to see that sometime.
Hey, I've got a dragon. Do you want to see it?
Sometime.
Do you want to see it now? Would you like to see it now?
I don't know.
Hey, do you want to see it?
Yeah, give us a peek. Ooh, that's nice. Yeah, it's very Chinese.
The reason I got this dragon, this beautiful dragon,
Yeah.
was because I used to work for Asians.
Oh, right, really? You're kidding.
Nah, good people. Good people.
Yeah, I mean, of
you
course.
know, look, that's another experience. That's another episode, but amazing. I used to love it. I used to love it.
doing?
You know, I was in I was in charge of containers,
Right.
imports.
Here in Melbourne.
Yeah, I loved it, man.
Wow.
I loved it because, you know, seeing these containers coming in and just, you know, man, it was beautiful. I loved it. And I had another 2 people with me. One guy passed away from cancer, Graham, beautiful guy, character. And there was I had an Italian bloke, Italiano, amazing. My time there with him, good experience. And I used to enjoy it. I used to enjoy it, man. I loved it.
Nice.
Yeah.
I just want to finish off that point, though, that I was making. I think I heard something recently where it said that and I think it's kind of like a dictatorship. It feels like a dictatorship. Like all these sort of, all these executive decisions are coming from the president. And I think the rule there is like they're sending all these people to jail and the jails are like action-packed. They're full, right?
Yep.
But what they're doing is that instead of just like letting them sit in a cell, what they're doing is they're telling the prisoners, they're saying, like, if you join this infrastructure project and do hard days labours to help, you know, build a railroad or whatever it is, for example, I don't know specifically what those projects are, but he said, like, the rule is that you could get time off your sentence. And what I heard was one of the things that they're noticing is that putting some of these people to work is giving them purpose in life. It's giving them
Absolutely.
yeah, like discipline, structure, and purpose. Is that they like there's less bad behavior. He said that they don't even have to have many security guards out with them on the street, because you'd think like, oh, you take these people out of prisons, you send them out to infrastructure projects, like some of them are going to try and do a runner. But what happens is like they're all sort of band together and they feel like there's a sense of purpose is uniting them and giving them hope. But also there's the end result, there's the fact that they are also getting time off their sentence as well. Yeah. So there's this double-edged sword, right? Where yes, you're getting extra purpose in life, the activity, it's good for you, you're building something, and also you're getting a reduction of your service. By the time someone leaves a system like that, I could imagine that they're much better off mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, than they are just sitting in a cell.
You know what, Louis?
I'm imagining that. Like, I don't know.
Hey, Louis, don't imagine it. You nailed it. Hey, you nailed it. Targeted it. You said it correctly, mate.
Well,
listen. If people could just listen to what you said, even here in Australia, our higher ups and our politicians, they will do that.
Well, I think,
but unfortunately, they want you to get stuck in the.
Yeah.
They don't want to do that, because it's all.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying.
That's all I'm going to say. And I don't like to talk about religion or politics.
Excuse
me, but especially politics here at the moment in Victoria. Hey, I like to say blessings to everyone in Victoria and in Australia, because I believe there's a big change coming.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot about stuff like that recently, about Pluto and the planets and stuff, and all these esoteric people talking about revolutionary times. And it's interesting, there's a lot of people that's probably tuning out right now listening to that, but I like to try and delve into insights that people might have around the workings of the universe, outside of, our planet, like what governs all this? Like, how did we even get here? All that kind of stuff really, makes my mind blow.
The before stuff.
Why is it why are we in a solar? You know what? Like, I started doing some small, insignificant research into space recently, and I'm like, what? There's actual 4 million galaxies out there.
There is.
We're in a galaxy. It's just 4 million.
I believe
That's wild.
Yeah.
What's happening in all the other ones?
I believe there's probably, you know how we're sitting here, we can see each other.
Yeah.
There could be people right here next to us that we can't see.
Yeah, okay.
How do we know that?
We're getting-
No, how do you know that?
We're getting trippy now. We
No,
are.
well, I'm not tripping. But
No. I started this.
No, but how do you know there's no one there next to you?
Well, you-
Louis, I've been in scenario. I'm going to tell you. I've been in scenarios.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you another little story.
Yeah.
When I got back from Greece and my cousin picked me up from the airport,
Yeah.
and at the start this is way back.
Mm-hmm.
He said to me, "Come on, let's just come in the car. Let's just go for a drive." And he was one of his friends with him. I was in the back seat, so we went to Clayton. He goes, "Just wait here." He went inside with his mate. I don't know what they were doing, whatever. I'm there waiting 20 minutes in the car. I had this instinct. I said, where are these idiots? What they got me waiting here in the car? I saw stuff this. I got out of the car. This is what I'm telling you. I reckon there's probably people around us that we can't see. I got out of the car, walked to the house. At the time when I knocked on the door of the house, you know what happened? This car comes along, smashes into the car that I was in there. That car that I was in on the bloody pole. On the pole, mate. This is on Springvale Road. And they opened the door. They said, "What's going on?" "What was that?" I said, "I don't know, mate." I looked at the car was on the pole. That car hit another car. That car that I was in was on the pole. The car went into a home.
That's crazy. You've had a lot of near misses, haven't you?
And I'm thinking, hey, what is going on here?
Yeah.
So I've told you some near misses.
Yeah.
Last time I was down here painting in Hosier Lane,
Yeah.
doing Movitas, the stars and the love hearts.
Yeah.
It took me 8 hours. The only reason it took me 8 hours to do that is because I did little stars and I was doing other colourful.
Yeah.
And the manager came out and he goes, "Hey, man, you're amazing. You did all this in 6 hours." It was about six and a half. I said, "Yeah," because I had to do all the little bits and then the hearts.
Yeah, okay.
He goes, "Some of these boys down here come and do this little bit and they spend 8 hours. I can't believe it." Anyway, it doesn't really matter. Other people are more different to others.
Yeah, for sure.
There was one particular guy walking up and down here and right behind me. Anyway, and I'm just there painting away. I don't even need to do anything.
Yeah.
And then suddenly the police just rocked up, helicopters. They locked this bit and that bit, and they had him in there. And I said, "Hey, is everything all right?" No, continue what you're doing. And they got the guy with his butcher knife. And this particular guy was walking up and down beside me.
You're kidding. Oh, my God.
See, one thing people have got to understand, and I've mentioned this before,
It's crazy.
certain bloodlines you cannot touch.
Well, everything has a
All right?
lifespan.
Certain bloodlines you cannot touch. You can't. And if you do try to touch them during their journey, it's you curse your bloodline.
That's wild, man.
You curse your bloodline. And some people can give judgment. And when someone gives judgment, man, forget about it. Because words are more powerful than action.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I think you're right. Like, I understand what you're saying.
I'm gonna share a little double happiness cigarette.
Thank you, sir. You know, I know what you're saying,
I
but
don't want to.
you know, I think actions speak louder than words. You know, like because I know what you're saying, that words are powerful. Words are powerful. You're right. They have the ability to make and break. No,
Words.
but you know,
Words, mate.
actions. You know, talk is cheap these days. You know, there's so many people saying all this and that and this and that. Who's actually doing good work? Who's actually putting their money where their mouth is? You know what I mean?
Look, Louis.
I think we're talking about two different things.
Yeah. But it's
But
on
they're-
the same.
they're
it's
related.
They're related, mate.
Yeah.
They're related. Trust me, they're related.
Yeah.
Trust me, they're related.
Someone's having a barbecue.
Yeah, I can smell it.
it
Look,
smells good.
Louis, it's hard, man. Hard times, Louis. For very, very hard times. Hey, brother, would you like a cigarette? Are you sure? No worries.
Yeah.
It's hard times, mate. Hard times for. I've got this feeling that things are not going to look good for Australia.
What makes you say that?
in the sense of the Australian dream is probably gone, you know, like,
Yeah.
because I go way back the way I despite if my, you know, even the European people, they've got, no one's perfect, mate. You got to remember, like, look at your family, all right, and the way, you know, we've been raised. But then the telephone, hey, we used to knock on someone's door to visit instead of calling. And then the family, hey, who's someone come past and left a flower on my door? And they'll ring up all the family. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
That's all gone, mate. No one, man, brothers and sisters don't even want to talk because of this or that, or where is the love, man? You know what I'm saying? And this is why, again, back to, this is it, man. You know what, Louis? I'm always going to be doing something in Hosier Lane at least once a month. My signature will always be here until my last breath.
Have you got a spot that is your spot that you're going to keep coming back to?
No.
Because it feels like there's a lot of...
No, I know that. No, this is not, listen, this is, if you see something of mine, it's not my spot. This is everyone's spot. And someone could come, and I would like that. Someone could come.
Yeah.
Someone could come and, hello, ladies. I'd like to see someone to come over and do something. That's what it's about. There was a temple that I did down the road there, and the guy did a woman's face with a love heart. Why would I go over it? So I worked around it. Do you see? So, and then when I finished, I thought, oh man, that's amazing. Like, look at it. Oh,
Yeah.
you know, it's just, you know, I'll go around it, not over it. But if someone wants to go over it, why? I'm not. Who am I to? I'm not. Mate, this is for everyone. It's a gallery for everyone.
Yeah.
You know, someone might want to write a little poem. So my spot, I don't know, man.
No, I'm just saying,
All of
like,
it's
is there a,
it's your spot too,
is
mate.
there a spot where you prefer to paint?
No,
You know,
I don't. I go by the instincts, how I feel. If it was going to be like that, a spot, all right, then
yeah, one that you know you'll come back to and go over it.
I'd like to see someone else go over it. Because if it's going to be like that, there's a spot. That means that he's in charge of
you're
that.
right.
That's
You're right.
Come on, man. Why should it be on spot?
I'm a question.
You know, I'm going to tell you another thing.
Stupid.
You know, the people that did these three restaurants here are very. I don't think people understand how very sentimental that these three restaurants are. Let's not talk about the living room because that's another sentimental thing for this Bluestone Laneway. You know, and I might be a bit of a critical on this organisation because I'm allowed to be, not in a bad way. But until I am breathing, this organisation will always have my support. Always. Not because of the work they're doing. That's another different ball game, ladies and gentlemen. It's because this place is being built because of a lot of people, not just in the Aboriginal culture, a lot of people from the graffiti scene, 1980s. And this is why Hosier Lane, the graffiti and all that. But going back to the restaurants, these three restaurants had some beautiful artwork. Beautiful.
On the outside.
Yeah, beautiful. If we go back to history, beautiful artwork. And coming and just seeing that, there might be some pieces here and there, and then there's another particular group that comes from overseas and does their graffiti and whatever. This place is not here for advertising. This place is here for, like a broadcast like you to interact with the people. It's for art. Because if it was here for advertising, we're going to start seeing posters and boards up like we have already in corners of Melbourne. And man, and it's all corporate then.
That's true.
So we're lucky in the sense that the city of Melbourne have allowed us
To have a space.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And like, you know, and like I said, you know, so these restaurants play a big sentimental, man. And they've been here for a long time. And congratulations to whoever the owner is. Man, rewards there.
Yeah.
You know, and to here, the living room.